Uh-oh, guess what day it is?
It's Rave Day!
It's Rave Day!
It's Rave Day!
It's Rave Day Podcast with your host.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard that one right once again, and we're back dialed into another episode of It's Rave Day Podcast with your host, Aldo, aka the historian. Out of frame, but very much in this bitch, we still have DJ Definity and Kev PB with us. And today, I actually have a very special individual joining us on this podcast. I hope to have her on future episodes. I'd like to introduce to you guys someone who I look at as my sister, and sometimes when she's in trouble, as my daughter, because I have been dubbed Rave Dad so many fucking times. So I'm going to hit the round of applause for this lovely individual. Please give it up for Lynn, a.k.a. Lynn. All right, cut that shit. How are you, dude? Good. Right on. Well, yeah. Oh. A little bit of mic problem, but we're good. All right. No, you're good, dude. You're good. So how are you?
I'm good.
That's great to hear, dude. Great to hear. All right, let's get into the shits. How long have you been raving for, dude?
Since 2015, so like 4.5 years now.
Right on. And what was your first festival, dude?
EDC.
Oh shit.
Las Vegas.
Hey.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was my comeback. That was my comeback festival. Yes, after a long fucking hiatus that I took. Did EDC 2010 the first time around. For whatever reason, stopped raving for such a long period of time, but came back, and my first rave was EDC 2015 as well. Did you go all 3 days?
No.
What happened?
Last day a friend died, and like it being like my first festival, I was too scared to just like go on my own, and it's crazy now looking back on it, the way I am now. Like if I want to go see someone, if I want to go do something, I'll like leave.
So let's put some context. Died as in they got mad trash and medicine, right? Okay.
Yeah, homegirl had too much to drink, and we had gotten the shuttle pass.
Right on.
So we were drinking before that. We were drinking in line. We were drinking in the shuttle. We turned around and homegirl was passed out. They made us take her to med tent, and yeah.
It'd be like that, dude.
Yeah, I won't name names, but
if you know who you are. But that's all the learning experience. But other than that, how was your first rave? That being a huge rave at big scale like that is 3 days, and the thing about EDC is it's much different than most festivals. Some festivals run on regular daytime or go into the night briefly, like 2 a.m. But EDC is different. EDC starts from 7 and ends at 5. So what was that like for you, first experience, huge festival in that magnitude?
I think everyone can agree going to EDC your first time is insane. You see all the videos, you see all the, even like that, the movie that they had. Like I remember I watched that beforehand. That they had, and I was like, oh dude, that's gonna be crazy, it's gonna be so cool. But once you walk in, like to going down those the
bleachers,
the bleachers, there you go,
right into the cosmic meadow,
yeah, dude, like it's so insane just staring at all the stages, seeing that all these people are just there.
That shit's magical.
It's magical.
And that movie you're talking about is Under the Electric Sky, correct?
Yeah,
that one's that one, watching that movie too. So the thing about EDC, the lure, the magic behind it, I got firsthand, being the last one in LA. I lived in Los Angeles pretty much throughout my entire young life. I think like 5 years old up until like 13 or something like that. And just being in that area and seeing how Insomniac was able to produce that event and really put magic into that festival, it really opened my eyes and really made me fall in love with the scene. And then, when they moved it to Vegas, I was a little bummed out, only because at the time I was 17 going to 18. I was still trying to get my life situated in terms of what am I doing after high school. So that's part of another reason as to why I didn't continue to go to raves after that point. But just looking at videos of how from 2011 2014 EDC really blew up, I was like, damn, that shit is fucking crazy. And the thing is, you could watch videos, you could watch pictures, and that's all good and all, but, and I know you could attest to this, and Kev, you could attest to this too. Being there, it just mind-boggling. It is, and nothing can compare. So,
it's
like
a
you
whole
said,
different world, dude.
Yeah. Walking down those steps, and the first thing you see is that Cosmic Meadow. It's just mind-blowing. And after that, in the background, you just see everything else. You see the bass pod and the wasteland from the distance. You look over to your left, Kinetic, all the way to your right. And that year, actually, Circuit Grounds it hadn't yet gone into the new production that it has now. That year was last year where they did the mega structure. Yeah, so looking at that was a treat. It was insane, definitely insane.
Hey, that structure was cool, dude. Because when I'd go in there, like you get lost in there.
You definitely do. Yeah, that mega structure design was crazy. I mean, it had panels going down like these. If I could remember right. Obviously, big production looking at the stage, those big LED panels, and then the kind of like how Good Vibes has their Atom. You know how that thing, so the thing, it elevates down and it has more light panels on there. Yeah, that year's Circuit Grounds was something to look at for sure.
I remember trying to walk out of it from Carnage, and we got pretty deep in. Oof. That was so bad. Yeah, but it was really cool. It was really cool to experience that, like being at my first festival, jumping from like all those stages. I remember like the first night I kind of stayed at the main stage for like a little while, got to see who was it, Avicii, which was great.
Rest in peace.
Hey,
rest in peace.
Story about me and Kevin for that. I died and came back to life for Avicii, so I got to see him before his passing. That
was great. And it's great seeing that now, that because I know a lot of people that haven't seen him. I'm one of the few people like in my group of friends who have actually got to see him before he passed away, which is cool. And it being like my first festival, like, memorable.
Blessed be in that moment. Yeah, that year, 2015, it definitely was a great festival great rave to come back into the culture. And as being your first rave, pretty huge, dude. EDC is a fucking monster. I always tell people, when people ask me, oh yeah, like what's a good first rave, I tell them all of them. But if you want to really get technical with it, I tell them, do something kind of on a smaller scale. So like do like a 1 day or even a 2 day, like Beyond, Nocturnal, Escape. Because EDC, don't get me wrong, EDC is it's a great one as well. But if you're not ready for it, especially physically, if you're not ready for that, it's grueling. You'll beat yourself up just walking, and not only that, but as I mentioned before. The way that the timer runs, it's from 7 p.m. to 5 in the morning. You are up all night, fucking crackhead hours, fucking just partying all night, not giving a fuck. It's beautiful, but for a normal person, those hours are grueling. So
yeah, it's rough. Yeah.
I think it's funny how sometimes we go to like Beyond or Nocturnal, and people are like, "Oh, this is so awesome! This is fun." And it's like what, almost 1 a.m. They're like, damn, it's almost over. Thank God, I'm so tired. I'm like, dude, if this was EDC, that's like half the fucking night, fool. What?
Yeah.
That's me now too. Like by the end of events now, when it's hitting 1, 2, I'm like, all right, I'm tired. I don't know how I did EDC this year, but I kept thinking when it hit the first night, when it was hitting midnight, I was like, bro, we still got like 4 or 5 hours. I'm so tired already.
we joked about that on the last podcast about how Nocturnal, which you also were able to attend, the people were kind of I guess bitching about the time that it ended at midnight. Us old people or us veterans in the culture are like, oh, 12 is fine, yo. You want to end it at 12? We can end it at 12. Yeah, I got some time to sleep afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, if you're there from the beginning, it's still a good amount of time. It started at 3, from 3 to 12. Yeah. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's
and
not.
If you camp, there's still the after party.
Yeah, exactly. Which I didn't get to, indulge on the silent disco. But did you?
The first night.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How was the silent disco at Nocturnal?
It was cool. Like I got to see Say My Name and Dr. Fresh and who else?
Oh, the pre-party. That
the
Friday.
pre-party, yeah.
Right on,
and then Cutting Into Shade, that's when they started like the silent disco with the headphones and everything. Yeah. Everyone was kind of confused because I think it was just like a little abrupt because they had done like without the headphones and everything before that. And then when they cut the Shade set, everyone kind of had to go out, get in line, get the headphones, and then come back in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it cut into a set a bit. Like, it cut into, like, 10 minutes of a set, but they let him play an extra 10 minutes. So it kind of made up for it. But it was, like, a little weird. I remember everyone was like, where do we go?
That's kind of bullshit, but I can see why they did that. One of the issues that we talked about that on the last podcast was the reason why Nocturnal left Glen Helen is because of noise ordinance. So I can see why they did that. Probably like at 12, like the county probably was like, yo, you need to cut this out no matter what. Yeah. So I could see why, you know, especially being Friday, not even technically the official first day of the festival. It was first day for campers, but first day of the festival, imagine being just shut down then and there. That would have been some shit. People would have been like, what? I want my money back. You know, start bitching and causing a frenzy and shit. So, well, that is what it is, I guess. Going back to what you said about EDC going this year, this was your, what EDC was this for you?
My third.
Your third.
Yeah.
Right on.
It would have been fourth, but I didn't go 2016.
Wait, 2016. Oh, yeah, that's right. You didn't go that year. Yeah, I remember because I remember my wife and Tin Man, actually, who was not here today, but he will be on the next podcast. I drove out to that one, and prior to that, I talked to you and asked you if you were going. Yeah. Fortunately, that year you didn't. It is what it is. You were able to go 2017 and 2018?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, right on. Shit, well,
this year was kind of last minute, but it was still really cool. still like a good weekend. It was fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed myself this year.
Something about those last minute missions, huh?
Always, dude. I love spontaneous trips.
Right on. Now, we're now actually broadcasted during the month of October. September ended on a pretty good note. I was going to say, you were actually supposed to attend a festival over this weekend, right? It was called, what is it called? Cross Fest. What happened there?
I just decided not to go. I was like, after Nocturnal, I was really tired. I was like, damn, I don't know if I want to do another festival. I mean, Cross is, granted, it's a lot more chill vibes, more different kind of music, you know, compared to Nocturnal. It's not on that big scale. But I don't know. I was kind of like, you know what, I'm going to save my chips because I'm going to go to Day of the Dead and then EDC Orlando.
Which I will be in attendance to those two as well. Can't wait to attend those as well. Cross, but you actually were fortunate enough to go earlier this year in their first session, right? Because Cross, what they do is they do 2 sessions in a year, correct? They do a spring edition, which they usually do at the beginning or middle of March.
Yeah, in March.
And they conclude with their fall edition, which is usually this past weekend, so end of September, beginning of October, kind of around that time.
I think it's usually in September. I think so. No, I'm not Cross expert. I've only gone once.
But that one time you went, also was that also a spontaneous trip, a last minute thing? How was that? How was that like for you going to? It was
great. I mean, I really enjoyed myself at Cross. It's something about those like last minute trips that are kind of great. I don't know. My friends are going, and then they hit me up, and they're like, come on, let's go. I was like, you know what? I ain't got anything to do today. Let's go. And it was great. I really enjoyed myself. They have a great beer selection.
Hey.
They have a great beer selection. So we had a good time. The music was on point. I just had a really great time with my friends. It was one of those times where, like, all you're focused on is just the music and who you're hanging out with, and it just was perfect.
You said craft beers. Was something that totally slipped my mind. Cross is 21 over, huh?
Yeah. I think that's also why
it's great. Hey, no offense to the little kids listening to this podcast, man, but something about those 21 over events, you learn to appreciate it. It's nothing to hate against the younger crowd. It's just that, hey, you kind of weed out a little bit of the rowdiness. And also Cross is known to really curate to more of like a house and techno kind of crowd, right?
Yeah.
And they do a lot of I mean, they do have other acts. I mean,
yeah, they have some live acts.
Live acts as well. I remember looking at the lineup, and one of the biggest acts that I saw there was Empire of the Sun and Odessa, and a few other live acts. I think Rufus the Soul has played there in the past before. I wouldn't doubt it. I know for a fact Flum performed there, I think back in 2015 when he was still.
Yeah. Odessa was there when I was there. It was great.
Really?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was really dope. Like I was there for a bit, and I literally ran because I think Odessa was playing at the same time as Martinez Brothers. Oh. I might be wrong. Yeah, I think Martinez Brothers or Pampot, something like that. But I like ran over real quick because I was like, nah, I have to catch a bit of Odessa. I know it was really good.
Right on. So you said you didn't go to this past weekends, unfortunately, but you had a few friends that went, correct?
Yeah, I had a few friends that went. Some of them had a really great time. Some of them, like, it was their first cross, and they had a fun time. You know, they just partied, danced, and stuff. And then I had a couple other friends who told me that they didn't have as great a time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which made me really sad because I remember like I hyped it up, you know, and I told them, I was like, bro, I had a great time. You're gonna enjoy it. It's good vibes. But I don't know what it was about the crowd this time. Maybe it was just like, from what I heard, just a couple chads and brads type of thing, you know, people being rude, shoving, and that happens.
Yeah,
unfortunately. But
yeah, this scene, when you look at or when you hear about certain festivals, sometimes that crowd of people, usually the college kids, they're all like, "Oh, look, it's something to do. Let's go and get fucked up." You know? Yeah, that is unfortunate to hear. I mean, it does happen. It's not limited to just one festival. These things happen. But you just make the best of it. You know, you go in there and you have as much as a good time as possible, and you don't let things affect you. And especially like you said before, when you went to Cross back in the spring, you go with a group of friends and you just have the grand old time.
Yeah, we just got lit, had fun.
So I don't know if you were aware of this. I wouldn't even call it an issue, but it was something that struck my eye when there was rules and guidelines put out about Cross. One of the things that I saw was this whole thing of clacking of fans.
I thought it was funny.
If to the people that are tuning in, if you don't know what we mean. So obviously when you go to festivals, it gets hot as shit. So one of the very convenient things to carry with you is a fan, a handheld fan, one of those Asian style fans, handheld ones where you fan yourself.
Yeah.
Well, a few people have gone to certain extents to use that same fan as I guess what do you call it, a musical instrument?
Yeah, to like go with the beat and like clacking.
So they go like, just picture if those people that are if those people are looking right now on YouTube, they literally grab a fan and they go crack, 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 crack. Now I personally don't mind it. A few of our friends of ours, they do it at festivals themselves. I mean, they go on beat, so that's probably why I don't mind. But I guess time to time you'll get that one person that clacks profusely and it could be very annoying.
Yeah.
So one of the things that on the guidelines for Cross was no clacking, which I found to be kind of funny, but at the same time I was like, oh, this is kind of surprising. Granted that I wouldn't imagine people enforce those kind of rules.
Well, when I went, I didn't really notice people doing that anyways. Like with Cross, it's definitely a different crowd. It's not like your regular crowd at Nocturnal or Escape, where it's just, just people raving and stuff. A lot of the time it's just people there just enjoying themselves, chilling, drinking their beers, listening to music, and then there are other chats and brads. But I don't even remember like it being that bad when I went to Cross. I definitely see it more like at other shows. Yeah,
I definitely do. And I personally haven't been to Cross, but since you have and you say that you have not had that experience where people were doing that, what do you think? Maybe they just put that just to stir the pot a little bit, or
maybe. But
Yeah.
I thought it was funny because at the same time they also had a contest. A fan contest.
Ugh.
I don't know if you saw it. But
Yeah, I think I did
they
see
were holding
that,
a
yeah.
contest to who can design the best crossed fan, and if you won, I think you got free tickets.
that's hilarious.
So I thought it was really a little ironic and really funny too.
Yeah.
But they also said no rave attire. But I saw videos of people afterwards, and
Really?
they were wearing bodysuits and stuff that you would kind of consider rave attire. So I don't think. So I feel like if that wasn't that strictly enforced, probably the clacking wasn't that strictly enforced either.
Yeah, I wonder why they would put those kind of I guess guidelines or rules into their into their festival. I don't know, maybe it's to kind of let the fresh 21-year-olds know
Yeah.
hey, this is the vibe. Don't come in here with that kind of hey kind of fucking mentality going in there.
I mean, not to throw any shade or anything, but I remember when I was scrolling through Twitter, just seeing kind of people's reactions about Cross, because I wanted to know oh, how was it?
Yeah.
I saw someone tweeting something about Cascade and Fisher attracting the wrong kind of crowd. I don't know, maybe that's why, because Cascade is more known for being definitely more in the rave scene,
Right
you know,
on.
and I don't know if that's why.
Well, Cascade was doing a Red X set, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those who don't know, Cascade does this thing called Red X, where he initially just pretty much plays what is kind of more like house, kind of more vibey, rather than his normal conventional festival type of bangers, I guess. So I mean, yeah, the name Cascade will probably draw in kind of colors on rice. It'll be like, oh shit, Cascade. But then people need to realize that it was a Red X set. So it's nothing too crazy. So, and then Fisher within the last year or two has really picked up steam within the rave culture. So,
But it's kind of a known thing that he kind of attracts a certain crowd.
yeah, he's a character for sure, and I could imagine as to why he would be able to attract those.
He knows it too, though. He makes fun of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, you just gotta have fun, I guess. It's not that serious.
Yeah.
It's not that serious, but people make it an issue, I guess. Yeah, well, that's one festival near the end of September, and we have another festival that actually ended the month of September with a bang. Matter of fact, a few bangs, a lot of bangs. And what I mean by bangs, I mean head bangs. Lost Lands, yeah. This past weekend, Lost Lands celebrated its third year. I unfortunately was not in attendance, as I mentioned before, but I was able to attend Couchlands. Yes, the fucking stream, man. It was so clutch. I was fortunate enough to see a few people on the live stream. Were you able to catch a few people on the live stream?
I caught a bit of Keizo's towards the end of his set, and then the beginning of 12 Planets.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I had went out Friday, but prior I was able to catch a bit of Subtronics, which oh man, Jesse, man, Subtronics is fucking killing it. He's fucking killing it right now. God damn it, man.
Subtronics is doing a good job right there.
Yeah, man. So it was 5:00 out there when he went on, and he packed that motherfucker. When you look at the fucking live stream, he had that whole main stage fucking from top to bottom just filled, dude. Jesse Subtronics, he's definitely has had a hell of a fucking year. Congrats to him. He, from what I was looking at the live stream, was fucking killing it. Took a nap. I was fucking tired after that. I went back on and I caught a little bit of I guess it was Gasly. I saw a bit of Gasly's set. He was throwing down. Then a little bit later on in the night, I saw Excision. I saw Excision's live stream for a solid hour, and fuck, he was just killing it, dude.
I haven't seen Excision in a
Fucking
while.
killing it. I was fortunate enough to see him at Apex this year. Early on in the year, it was April. But yeah, Excision was fucking killing it. Who else was I able to watch on the live stream?
Hats off to Excision, though, for being able to throw that 3 years in a row.
Yeah. The things that Excision has been able to do for bass music within the last, I would say actually 5 years, it's just phenomenal.
And I think it really you could really see how far it's come to just because he played main stage at EDC.
That's right, he did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to catch that set this year?
I didn't.
No, but people were there.
Yeah, I forgot who was playing on the same time as him, but no, I didn't.
Kev, oh, sorry to cut you off.
Good? No, just this year I was kind of running around everywhere. And then after a while, like this year I really realized how far each of the stages were. And after a while I was like, you know what, I'm going to just camp it right here.
Your age was catching up to you?
Yeah, dude. I felt it this year.
See, that's why next year I do want to attend Lost Lands, because I feel, I'm not that old. I'm 26, but you look at in terms of rave years, it's fucking dog years. I'm at least like 70 or 80. So I want to make sure I do Lost Lands, or if I could pull off Base Canyon as well. That's actually one of other Excision's festivals. I want to be able to attend just simply because I definitely see my maturity when it comes to rave culture and the music in it. Mm-hmm. And I'm a bass head at heart. I will always love bass music, but I don't think I could keep up with those kids no more.
I can't either, bro. Like, don't be wrong. I like listening to the sets when I'm at home. I like listening to the music when I'm at home, but like I'll go to those dubstep sets and I can't anymore.
It'd be like that, dude.
Yeah, even at Project Z, after I was like, all right, I need to sit. I'm tired.
Yeah, it's the times are catching up to us. I mean, it's all
Dude,
fun.
I'm 23. But then again, like
rave years.
Yeah, most people that like, if you don't know me, like I go to shows back to back without even meaning to. Like I make a lot of spontaneous trips, so I feel like when you're doing so many events, it catches up to you.
You suck at staying in, huh?
Yeah, I'm terrible. Let's hope for a better me next year.
I still love you, dude. Don't worry about it. Enjoy your life the way I say it. And anyone listening, go out as much festivals as possible. If you could afford it and you could pull it off, do it. We're only young for however many years in our life. Then we get to a point where we're like, oh shit, my back hurts. I don't want to go out no more.
Just wear earplugs.
Yes, for sure. Earplugs, especially at these bass shows.
Mm-hmm.
So the live stream, I was able to catch also Boogie Trio, which was one of the few live bands that performed at Lost Lands. That's Boogie T and his friends of his that they got a pretty dope thing going, man. They have like kind of like a wonk bass / kind of reggae going for them. That's pretty dope. And I was able to watch a bit of Keizo's live stream as well. Last day I didn't really catch that many the artists on the live stream, only the Slander back-to-back Spaghetti, which is cool. And then that Excision back-to-back Millennium was fucking beautiful.
Was it really?
It was. Like I jokingly said, Excision back-to-back Millennium is pretty much Seven Lions, and it was a mixture of In Your Feelings and you get Excision with just fucking, he'll massacre you with just bass, man. It was beautiful.
You'll make your heart nice and warm and then rip it
out. Sticking with Lost Lands, although from what I've heard and seen, was all great and all, but just like in anything in our culture and these festivals, there's a few bad apples. And what I mean by bad apples, I mean there is a lot of people criticizing a few sets at Lost Lands, which I think it was, I wouldn't say shocking, but it was kind of I wouldn't even say disappointed. It was just kind of like, okay, why what's the need for this? A few people had a few I guess negativity towards a few sets in particular. Zed's Dead, Keizo, and Nikali. Apparently, from what I was watching or dialing in on Twitter, people were complaining that they weren't going hard enough, which fuck, dude. I guess
with Keizo, I heard that people were getting mad because he was playing like hardstyle, which is funny.
I mean, hey, if y'all are real Keizo fans, what the fuck what were y'all expecting?
I know.
It's Keizo.
You hear a lot of the, I miss the old Keizo, but when he plays hardstyle, y'all get mad.
Yeah, the old Keizo was hardstyle.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the first tracks he produced, although he does not call it hardstyle, it was very hardstyle influence. So to say that, oh yeah, what is he doing this for? Well, you guys sound ridiculous. And then as far as like Zed's dead. Zed's dead. People were just bitching that. I guess they were expecting more of like a base mentality kind of a set that they normally do, and they didn't get that. And I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. Zed's dead. They get down the way they get down. Sometimes they're not gonna curate to your liking. Sometimes they will, but to go and say that they weren't going hard enough, their set was whack. Oh, I can't believe this. I'm leaving their set. Blah blah. Blah. It's I feel like it's in poor taste.
Yeah, I say I preach this to like when it comes to a lot of different artists. Like they're gonna play what they want to play, and I don't think it's fair for you to try and conform them into a box. For sure. Yeah. When people do that. And I'll be honest, I'm at fault at doing this as well. Same. I actually, a perfect example, I did this with OK. When OK was was transitioning from his regular trap dubstep style back in 2016 going into 2017 when he was going into his live sets and stuff like that. I'll be honest, I appreciate it. I will say this, I learned to appreciate it and to acknowledge that an artist will throughout the years will develop and they will not stick to the same sound that got them there. I mean, it's just they evolve. They evolve. That's like what it is. Just like with everything in life, people things evolve, and unfortunately, like things in life, sometimes change. People they feel some type of way about it. I guess at least for me, I guess what I've conditioned myself to do is just to appreciate the fact that someone is able to evolve, because if you don't appreciate that, then you're not allowing them. I guess I wouldn't say time, but you're not granting them the ability to evolve and to grow. If you stay the same for so long, like you get stale. You know what I mean? Exactly. You need to grow. You need to change and evolve and create. Artists need that freedom to like be able to do what they want. And create whatever they feel like creating, because it gets boring after a while. I know you can't say that you haven't complained about seeing a certain artist back to back many times and they're like, oh, they're playing the same set. I'm tired of this. Why don't you play a different set? It's just like that. Yes, for sure. So people bitching and complaining. I would just say keep it to yourself, man. If it's not positive, just keep it to yourself, man. Go take a shit or something and let that negativity get out of your body or something. I will say this. I mentioned that Kali was getting backlash. He actually clapped back on Twitter, which is pretty funny. I'm gonna read a few of his tweets that he said. So this is Kali. Ha! If you were at Los Angeles tonight and hated my set, I have no idea why you showed up expecting rhythm. I had the time of my life. Thank you to those who vibed with me, and thank you, Excision, for giving me a chance to play for the festival. Hope you just am the 1,000 follower artist. I don't know what he meant by that last sentence. Here's another tweet. Thank you to everyone for the kind words on the Los Angeles set. It's really nerve-wracking coming into a dubstep-centric festival and competing with the best in the game in that genre. Happy I played a lot of music from new upcoming artists and it went off. Just shout out Kali, man. I mean, I don't feel like he should have even acknowledged it, but hey, shout him out. And one thing that actually kind of boggles my mind, that little statement he said of having to compete with other people. Music's very subjective, and everyone produces different music, different sounds. It shouldn't be a competition, especially if it's something you love. I do not think there should be a competition. It's ridiculous that he even had to say that, just because I could just, I'm repeating myself, but it's not a competition. It's not a competition. He's literally up there and he's putting his time and effort into creating a set for everyone to enjoy. And it shouldn't be that way. Yeah. I don't think it should be that way. It's in poor taste. Yeah, Akali's funny. He does tend to clap back, which is why I don't mind. I think it's hilarious, Oh yeah, I do too. But I feel sometimes people should just just not even give it the attention. Yeah, for sure.
And I guess to one last thing in terms of Lost Lands, I wanted to address Dublo's situation. So as some of you may have seen on the schedule or like the lineup or whatever, Saturday of the event, Dublo's and Deion Timmer were supposed to go back to back, but due to traveling issues, Dublo was actually unfortunately wasn't able to make it in time for that back to back. And well, I'm gonna read a few tweets in regards to that. So this is Dubloads. I will not be playing Lost Lands this year due to travel difficulties. Please go see Deion Timmer. Crush it for me. That was a tweet adding him. And then he goes on to say, the next flight gets me there tomorrow night, literally. We've exhausted all options. On that note, I'm going off the grid. I have a good time, and have a good time for me, everyone. He then follows back a little later to say, guys, I wish I could tell you I was kidding, but as I sit here hyperventilating and throwing up, I can assure you it's not. I've never missed a show, never mind the biggest one in the year. To say I'm heartbroken is an understatement, but these things happened. And continuing the tweet, just to clarify, because this tweet is confusing, I'm not sick. My flight was canceled. I'm throwing up. Hyperventilating part is a product of the mental breakdown I was having. Something that I was mentioning on the previous podcast about DJs, performing 2-3 sets in a night and traveling. It's a huge stress.
Yeah.
It's definitely a huge stress to have to think that you're letting people down or you're letting yourself down all because of current certain situations that are definitely out of your control. Dublo's, I'm pretty sure he wanted to make it to that back-to-back so bad, but I guess there's just not that much flights going into Ohio, and his flight I guess got canceled or something happened. Fortunately wasn't able to make it, and it's very sad to see that he had to endure that kind of stress. It's just one of those things that people kind of oversee when it comes to DJs and how their traveling schedules. It could be so hectic.
Yeah, I know it's rough because like when you're thinking about all those fans you're disappointing because you can't be there, it's rough. I'm sure he was just stressed out and just freaking out and just doing everything he can possible to try and be there, and it sucks when it doesn't work out. But the real fans, they know that it's out of his control and that if he could, he would have been there. For sure. He did manage to, I did see a few other tweets in on his Instagram. He did manage to get there, and shout out to the people over at Grave Dancer. They were able to give him a slot during their Grave Dancer takeover, so he managed to still play. Obviously, it wasn't a back-to-back as he would love to, but he still showed up, and he still made great of the time that he had there, even set up a meet and greet on that third day. So shout out to Dublo's, man, and you fans out there, next time you guys think about these certain things or you hear about these things, man, reach out to your art, the artists that you guys love, like even like a simple tweet or a positive comment. Yeah, let them feel appreciated.
Yeah, for sure.
It goes a long way.
Give applause for Dublo's, man. It's fucking stressful. So that was September. September ended with a bang. Now it's October. What time of the year is it, Lynn?
Spooky time.
What is it?
Spooky season.
What is it?
Spooky season.
Yes, it's fucking spooky motherfucking season. October.
My favorite time of the year.
Yeah, we are in 1/3 of the holiday season, as I like to call it. October, it is the spooky season, and in October there is a shit ton of Halloween themed events popping off all around the fucking country, probably even all around the world. Even though I don't know if people celebrate Halloween across the outside of the States, I don't know, probably not. But yeah, in the States, motherfucking Halloween, spooky fucking season. Yeah, there is a shit ton of events popping off. A lot that I will be honest with you guys, we're not gonna cover because it's just a shit ton. We're gonna cover a few though that we're very aware of or we may have attended in the past. I'm gonna go ahead and break down a few. One of which caught my attention simply because I am dying for one of his sets. Bass Nectar. Bass Nectar is throwing down Freak Style Day of the Dead. He is throwing this motherfucker down out in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Originally, it was going to be a 2-day event. It was going to span from November 1st to 2nd. But fuck. I don't know if it's his popularity or the fact that people just really want to see Bass Nectar or something along those lines. But both events sold out, in which case his team added a third day, being on October 31st on actual Halloween day. So now it's a 3-day affair. Yeah, it's a 3-day affair. Lynn, first time you saw Bass Nectar?
Middlelands.
Hey.
It was so good.
Yeah, I saw Bass Nectar first time that same year at Hard Summer. I need to catch another Bass Nectar set for sure.
too.
So if anyone's out there in Michigan and you fucking love the Woot God, make sure you go catch Bass Nectar. He's running 3 nights there. Like I mentioned to you, the first 2 nights, November 1st and 2nd, is sold out. 31st, I'm pretty sure there's still tickets for that. Hard Red Rocks Halloween. Hard is bringing back their Red Rocks series. This time, though, they're doing a Halloween theme. It's on October 26th, obviously at Red Rocks out in Morrison, Colorado. They first started their Red Rock series back, I believe, in 2013, 2014, but this year's actually the first year that they're doing a Halloween theme. Lineup's pretty dope. Keizo's on the lineup, I believe. I believe Ghastly, Grammatic, and matter of fact, one of the interesting people on that lineup to me is Tom Morello. You know anything about Tom Morello, Lynn?
Not well.
By far one of the best fucking guitarists ever fucking shred on a guitar. Kev, you know everything about Tom Morello.
LA Rising, Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, so that's Tom Morello. I'm interested to see what's he gonna do, if he's gonna just do like a guitar set or he's gonna bring a band or something.
Probably gonna do like his country stuff.
Oh, he's doing country now.
Yeah,
Interesting.
That'd be really funny.
Yeah, at a hard event, that would be really
that'd be
funny.
kinda funny.
That would be hilarious. But hey, Tom Morello is a fucking legend. He's for sure top 5 when it comes to guitars. So yeah, that's Red Rocks. And I believe there's the Boo series.
Yep.
Yeah, so Boo, there's actually been 3 Boos that have ever been produced. There's a Boo Dallas, Boo Arizona, and Blue SF. Boo Dallas, to my knowledge, they only were able to produce 2 of those, 2016 and 2017. Last year and this year, I don't think they're doing any Boo Dallas. The 2 that have stayed consistent have been Boo Arizona and Boo San Francisco. Boo Arizona will be taking place sometime in the middle of October, I believe October 19. Lineup's pretty good. They got 13 Slushy, De Oro, Say My Name. That'll go down in Arizona Rawhide Event Center. That's co-hosted by both Insomniac and Relentless Beats. And then you got Boo SF, which actually is the one that really started off the Boo series. I first caught wind of Boo SF when I actually went to Hard Day of the Dead that same year, 2015. I was on Instagram and I was just watching the pictures of that shit, and there's like a big ass skeleton for their production. I was like, holy shit, what's this? And yeah, it was out in San Francisco. Of the Boo series, that's the only one that spans 2 days. They're doing that, I believe, is it 25th, 26th, or something like that. 2 days? No, Arizona, to my knowledge, has always been 1. They'll probably pump it out to 2, maybe as it gets popular. But as of right now, it's only 1. And Boo SF is actually 2. It's spanning 2 days. Lineup for that one, it's pretty decent lineup. You got Demetrius Vega and Light Mike. You got What So Not. You have 4B back-to-back Flosstradamus. You have I would have to look at the lineup. I totally forget. It's a pretty good lineup. It's just I for one this year. Oh, and they have kids on there. This year's lineup, I don't know. I feel some type of way about it. Maybe because as someone who's wanted to go to Boo SF for quite some time now, the lineups in the past have been a little bit more my thing.
Yeah, this year I saw the Boo SF lineup too, and it didn't call my attention.
No, yeah, this year's was a little it wasn't my vibe.
Yeah.
It was not for me. Definitely would want to do a Boo SF somewhere in the future. I've been to San Francisco. Last time I was there back in 2017 for Excision's Paradox tour. I love the city. It's expensive as shit, but I would go out there to visit anytime if I had to.
Parking's a scam.
Ugh, yeah, parking is
Realized that when I went for Second Sky.
it's a bitch and a half.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, something that we briefly almost left out. We just mentioned on that lineup 4B going back to back with Flosstradamus. You want to break that down?
That's crazy. It'll be probably one of his last sets.
So going back to Lost Lands. So Lost Lands, Flosstradamus was fortunate enough to make his way back to Legend Valley, this time performing at Lost Lands. And from what a lot of people were saying, threw down a motherfucker of a set.
It was great.
And then he took people by surprise. Near the end, at the very end of his set, he announced that he is going to be taking a break to focus on his mental health.
Possibly retiring after this year.
Yeah, possibly.
Which is crazy.
Hey, like we've been kind of preaching and talking about on the podcast so far with these 2 episodes. You just gotta appreciate artists that they go through it.
They do.
They go through it, and then people really neglect, or people don't really see how much DJs endure mentally, traveling, constructing a set. And as crazy as it sounds, but they're putting a lot of energy up there. You might think, oh, you're just pushing a few buttons here and there and transitioning. No, to get a crowd animated, you really have to be in it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I believe this 100%. I mean, you could tell if someone was to be up there and half-assed it, you could definitely tell.
Yeah.
You definitely tell. Even, like, I don't care if, people say sometimes people do pre-recorded sets or not. If it's right there on the fly or it's pre-recorded, you got to keep in mind that people are there and they're up there entertaining. Mm-hmm. They're entertaining, and it's energy consuming.
And doing that a lot of the times back-to-back nights, it's a lot. You're not sleeping. You're not eating right. You're just on planes most of the time. It's a lot.
Exactly. That's something to really look at. Take it as you may, but it's definitely something you got to look at, and you got to appreciate the artists that you follow and are a fan of. So I salute to Floss. If this year really is his last year doing what he's doing, I gotta salute him. Him because when him and Josh were still together, they did a huge contribution to the rave culture. When the trap genre really picked up back in the early 2010s, it was Floss. They were right there at the forefront, and they were pushing that genre to the limit. And I think they did a lot for the culture. Yeah. So even if this really is the time for him to hang it up, then all respect are due to Floss, to Kurt. And I salute him, and I wish him nothing but the best. And I do hope that if this is really it, then he finds something still within music.
Yeah.
I feel like he could still do a lot of contributions to music, for sure.
I feel like when you're an artist and you've been in the industry for that long, it's hard not to.
For sure.
Yeah, it's hard to like completely stay away from it.
You get the little itch.
Yeah.
So that's why, I mean, if it is that he's really retiring, salute to him. But if he's gonna take a long break, by all means, take as much time as you want, Floss, because hey man, your mental health comes first. Like us fans, man, we might bitch and complain and bicker, but don't pay attention to us, man. We don't know shit. We don't know absolutely
At the end
shit.
of the day, these artists, they're just human.
Exactly, just like us.
Yeah.
Just like us.
We tend to forget that.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's nuts. All right, that's our spooky season breakdown. Don't get us wrong though. There's still other festivals happening in the month of October. Matter of fact, this weekend coming up, we're gonna briefly touch on Dirty Bird Camp Out West Coast Edition. Lynn, what are your thoughts?
I want to go so bad.
Same.
1 year.
Yeah, Dirty Bird creative event, the camp out, Claude, the whole Dirty Bird gang going out there at Modesto, throwing down this whole weekend. Yeah, so you have Claude Von Stroke, I believe Sage Armstrong, Steve Darko, Ephraim. He's actually doing a back-to-back with Claude, but Claude's other alias, what is it, Barclay Crenshaw, kind of a hip-hop alias that he has. Jania Echo, that one was
I was really surprised when I saw her on the lineup. I was like, what?
What are your thoughts on that?
I thought it was so random.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought it was cool though. I kind of want to see. I want to see people. Can people post videos from like her being there? Because I just want to see it for myself.
that is true. I'm interested. I'm interested to see. Her on the lineup.
When that lineup dropped and her name popped up there, I knew a couple people were like, "All right, I want to go now."
That one was kind of like a curveball. I was not expecting that, but Jenny Aiko, Shiba-san, pretty much the who's who when it comes to house, tech house, and all the heavy hitters from the Dirty Bird camp.
Vanessa Omnom.
Yeah, Vanessa Omnom. That's definitely a festival that I know for a fact you would love to do in the future, and I would definitely love to do.
I've heard good things.
Actually, I have a coworker who's actually going out there this weekend. Hopefully, I could get her on the podcast or at least get her reactions to that. So that'd be pretty dope. And then 2 weeks from now, not this weekend, but 2 weeks from now, down in LA, we've got Secret Project. Second year running. It is hosted by Factory 93, which is a sub. I wouldn't even call it a sub promotion. It's part of Insomniac Events, but it's like a different department that specializes in house, tech house, and techno. That lineup's also pretty neat as well. A few acts that I've seen on that lineup.
Honey Dijon.
Honey Dijon. DJ Tennis, Loco Dice, Nina Kravis. That's definitely a dope one that I would also like to attend. The near future, not anytime soon. One day, yeah, because
not this weekend, next weekend.
Next weekend, that's the October 12 and 13, Saturday and a Sunday. That's going down in Chinatown, downtown LA area for sure. Speaking of Insomniac, a round of applause to those guys. Give me 1 second. Oh, so I don't know if some of you may have heard or seen on socials. So this year, unfortunately, Mother Nature was a motherfucker. Really devastated areas in the Bahamas. It was Hurricane Doreen. I don't know, some bitch so. Name. Yeah. They always call it. They always call it some fucking female name. Don't know why. I don't even want to get into that. But yeah, Hurricane Doreen.
Crazy.
You said it. Hurricane. Yeah. No. Let's get a little serious. Hurricane Doreen really devastated certain areas in the Bahamas, and shout out to Insomniac. With the addition to camping out at EDC Las Vegas back in 2018, the use of shift pods required that festival to create a camping experience. And beautiful souls over there at Insomniac, they used those same shift pods to initially construct temporary homes for people in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
that's fucking awesome. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful for a event throwing promotion to do such a thing. Yeah, just salute to them.
Yeah,
What
and
do you
if
have to say?
if you've never camper, if you haven't if you haven't looked at them, the shift pods, they have like outlets, they have AC.
Yes.
And I think I read that for when they took them over to Bahamas, they could fit up to like a family of 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really good what they're doing.
Yeah, man. So
Shout out Pasquale,
yeah, shout out Pasquale, shout out Insomniac. It's a beautiful thing for sure. You know, you spread love within the culture and then spread love outside of it. So I salute to the Insomniac team.
Oh yeah, spread plur outside of the rave.
Yeah, exactly, man. And even if you don't go by the old traditional plur ways, just live that plur life, man.
Or you could do what Gesture does and just scream plur in their face until they get it.
Plur! No, but in all seriousness, yeah. It's beautiful.
Fucking great.
Well, I think we covered just about everything, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Right on. And yeah, that pretty much covers this podcast. I wanted to take this time to say thank you so much, Lynn, for joining me on this. And I do hope to have you for more podcasts down the road or on the next one. So yeah, that's this episode. Next podcast, we'll definitely be breaking down more spooky season Halloween theme events and other events as well. Thank you all for dialing in and tuning in. Until next time, thank you guys.
See you.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is?
It's Rave Day! It's Rave Day! It's Rave Day!
It's Rave Day, baby!
So as they say in Canada, peace out.